Okay, it is nearly 5:30, and before we do our regular meeting, we are going to have a motion to hold a public hearing for the land and water grant. So do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Any second?
Secondly.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye. So we're in the public hearing meeting.
Logansport Parks and Recreation is interested in applying for what's called a grant. It was established in 1965 to assist federal and state agencies to preserve, develop, and ensure access to outdoor recreation for current and future generations. The U.S. Department of Interior, the National Park Service administers the grant at the federal level. Indiana stateside grants are administered through the Department of Natural Resources, Division of State Parks, Community Grants and Trails, and their staff. Their staff are the point of contact for all local project sponsors, as well as the state liaisons to the National Park Service in this program. The grant funding range is $250,000 to $1 million. It does require that the program will match a maximum of 50% of the total project cost up to $1 million, up to $1 million, which means that if we provide $500,000, they will provide $500,000 with the grant. The project may not exceed $2 million. The project sponsor must have full local match share available at the time of application submission. The only other federal program that could help match is a community development block grant. We are allowed to use donated or in-kind labor, equipment, land, materials, and supplies as a match. And that's not important. It is a reimbursement grant, so that means we put the money up front and then they reimburse us after work is completed. It is important for people to understand that once a piece of property has been developed with the Land and Water Conservation Fund program, that those public lands, there are protected public lands for outdoor recreation in perpetuity, otherwise forever. Both Houston Park and we actually are already under that deed because of the pickleball basketball courts that we just did in 2022. Any change in the land use requires land replacement for public outdoor recreation. So if somebody would decide to change everything that's there, then they would have to replace it somewhere else. So, eligibility requirements require a 5-year master plan that's been submitted to the DNR, which we completed in 2024. We must provide a valid pre-application meeting by June 30th. We've actually done 2 of them. Matching funds must be available at the time of application, and so that whatever commitments we get, that's a legal commitment for this. The project sponsor oversees and administers the project through completion, and must include federal protection language, which we've already done that. And the one they don't have here anymore is that it used to be required that you had a parks board, but it's not in this anymore. So anyway. Does anybody have any questions on that? I guess that's the first thing. That's the basic program. August 1st is our deadline to have it in. We hope to have it in a little bit sooner than that, but I've tried to provide some of you, I mean, if you got here in time, you got a picture of the conceptual design. This design came through two charrette meetings with stakeholders, people who have already expressed an interest in what's going on at the park, and have actual activities and things like that in the park. They all had a chance to be a part of those meetings. And so what you have in front of you right now, this is an overall master plan. It is conceptual. It doesn't mean that it's cut in stone right at this point. But that's, we're looking at adding more pickleball. We're looking at a multi-use field, a new iconic playground, eventually some sort of a boardwalk or overlook over the river, improving the canoe and kayak launch on the northeast corner of the park. Additional parking, you'll see that throughout. We also would like to include the fountain that was at Riverside or at Heritage Park. We want to move it to the front of the McHale complex. And this is in discussion, and nothing, again, this isn't firm or anything, but we're hoping to enhance the train operations with a trackless train, and you'll see a proposed mobile train depot where the train could be stored, as well as it could be a tickets booth. It could be a history of trains in Logansport as a mural on inside and outside. We hope to see the miniature golf expand at some point. We don't know how or when that'll happen. You'll see a lot more parking on the east end as we propose to close the road itself from that direction. Pavilions also there on the east end, and the primary event pavilion at the north side of the multi-use field. And this is for the entire plan. Pathways as well for walking, and so you don't have to walk on the road to get anywhere. So the actual grant, we don't feel like we can do all that, of course. I think the major plan is to remove the playground that we currently have, remove the storage building that's just north of the miniature golf, to convert the softball field into an open multi-use field, along with the event pavilion / stage, and also one large pavilion setting next to the playground. I don't know if the money will go very much further than that at this point. So, am I right, Vicki? Yeah. Kevin? That's where we're at right now. This is 2.0. There'll be a 3.0 and a 4.0 probably, so anyway. Any questions from the Parks Board, first of all?
On the east end of the park, so that street is open to all that parking, right? I mean, I think that's what I'm seeing.
Yes.
No, yeah, right? Okay.
So it'll go there, but it will not be the back road by the river anymore.
Right, okay. Gotcha.
Anybody else? Okay. The next page in your packet will show we did do some public input from July 4th and then at the fair on the 6th and the 7th. And you'll see the numbers there is what people were responding to. Of course, we had the most responses for the River Boardwalk and then the iconic playground. And by the way, this is the style playground that we would like to build. It'll accommodate 40 to 50 kids at one time. It's fully accessible all the way to the top because it's all netting on the inside that they can pull themselves up all the way to the top if they want to. Lots of little things on the ground level for handicapped people. And so, but we really like this one. And it also gives opportunities for recognition on the wall to either a significant donor or options to show like the crane on the bridge that you submitted, Mercedes, or something that just says Riverside Park on it, or the Eel River Run, however we want it. We can do that in that not the slats on the top, but that next section, that middle section, is where you can do that kind of stuff to it. So, okay, that was second, and third was the kayak launch. In I don't know that kind of kayak launch is appropriate for a non-concession, just to have it open for anybody. But it is something that perhaps we could go into business with a concessionaire to do that kind of thing. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking about. Number 4 was shade. That was a pretty hot, especially during the summer. Shade is really an important thing so we call them shade sales. Number 5 was the event pavilion for concerts and or it could be for large picnics as well. And the nice thing about that one is that it sits up high enough that vandals have a hard time getting to it, and it doesn't have very many walls or anything for vandals to do anything to that either. So I like that pavilion for that reason. The picnic pavilion was the next one, and that's the one that I'm hoping to do, that style. So it's reminiscent of the Carousels building. We want to put that closest to the playground. Number 7 is the multi-use field. And number 8 is the perimeter trail. Okay. I've included pages from our 5-year master plan that shows you in several locations the reason, part of the reasons we're going after this grant, things that we want to get done. If you've never seen the 5-year master plan, it's great sleeping material, getting to sleep. But that's what this is. We spent a lot of time and effort in 2023 and 24 to get that completed. So, but that was also public comment. Those were all these items are from public comment, either on our statistically valid survey or our public survey. So. And this page in your packets, where it's online community survey results, that was the one that anybody could participate in. Statistically valid, you had to be mailed the thing. So, you'll see on that is outdoor amphitheater, multi-use paved trails, outdoor adventure park, kind of consider that playground kind of an adventure playground, picnic areas and shelters, social spaces, diamond sports field, playground equipment for all. So I guess we're.
That'll to experience the World Cup atmosphere. Soccer fans will be
Three minutes, 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay. So we'll go into public comment. If you would like to make a statement or have a question, please come up to the center. The little box on the table is the microphone. We just need your name and address and then your question, and we'll take note of it. We might address it. I don't know if it's, maybe something we have to think about, but this is the opportunity for public comment at this hearing. So,
I might real quickly add, to pay attention to this microphone. I've had a couple different meetings where people are saying they're not able to hear it on the streaming. So that black box is a microphone, so sit close to that and speak if you would, because then people, some people think we're not letting all the information out, but it's there for that.
don't want to be too hard, fast on it. Try, 3 or 4 minutes, something like that, just so we make sure we get through everybody.
My name is Richard Dexter. I live at 3001 Tomlinson Drive. I play a lot of pickleball, and I was there this morning with my group, and we were concerned about the playing surface. I know Jan is aware of it, but the playing surface is cracking. I don't know if any of other you noticed that, but there are little cracks about this long, and we noticed that they're getting longer and combining with other little cracks. And we think maybe 2-3 winters, with the freezing and thawing, we're not going to be able to play on those courts. So I think it's time that we take care of things we have before we actually improve anything or add anything else. We need to take care of the things that we have. And also, we were talking about our pickleball courts are the only one that I've been to, and I've been through many, many courts, are not totally fenced in. We're having to walk 50 yards across 2 pickleball courts to retrieve our balls. We'd like to see our pickleball courts totally fenced in, if that's possible. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Just a little feedback there. You kind of have to sometimes separate maintenance from new stuff because they're not going to give you a grant to maintain stuff. But it is good to make sure that that gets onto the budget to maintain facilities and stuff like that. Have you tried? Is the ones at the high school, is that working at all, or is that a?
Well, a lot of people don't play there because there are signs there that say we can't lower the nets to pickleball height because there's a 2-inch difference between pickleball and tennis. Plus, the distance between the baselines and the fence are greater. There's long retrieving the balls, it's kind of a pain. We like the Riverside courts.
Oh, yeah. And I'd say at the time that was done, the school corporation was trying to help. You guys had 2 courts, and everybody said 2 courts isn't enough. So when they were redoing all the tennis courts at the high school, and some people suggested, hey, here's a way to help the pickleball thing. You have to be able to lower the nets, but I think the problem was people were messing with it and same old, same old. Sorry. Have a seat, gentlemen.
John Burks, 1967 East 200 North, Logansport.
Dave Arden, 2330 East Broadway.
Okay, the question is, what are we supposed to do? We're with the Cass County Softball Incorporated, so there's no softball field down there, so what are we going to do? Where are we going?
Are we just being,
Or are we just being booted without any?
been talking about that.
But we haven't had any,
Well, if I can finish, we were talking about that, us, because that's been brought up as a concern. I know that right now we've got Steinman Field, which even if Babe Ruth comes back to that field, I don't think the seasons overlap. I think Babe Ruth is done probably before you guys start. There's a field at Melbourne that we're currently using with Little Tykes. I don't know what condition that's in. But it's not as though we haven't just like written off the men's softball league. I mean, we're trying to think about,
mentioned though, or nothing's been said to us as far as.
well, that's why we're here at this hearing.
Found that out as far as, really, I mean, you know, of course, it's been hearsay, but until the other day when Dave Long posted on Facebook, like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
This is us.
Facebook's interesting.
Nothing was mentioned as far as a proposal or anything to kind of even get our gears moving.
Except we've been talking about this for years, for several years, we've talked about this. I know you know that.
Like I said, it's been through, you know,
I know, so you guys should have been thinking about it too, you know.
what was said about it, you know what I'm saying? So now it's here, now what are we gonna do? So, what are we
Well,
gonna
and actually, it's not. I mean, it's hard telling when this will all be developed. I mean, I don't know.
do? We gotta have time to figure out what we gotta do too, you know, so.
I mean, does that sound fair? I mean, you know,
Well-
if this isn't gonna happen for a couple years, then are we still good to be down there? Or, you know, that's one of our concerns too.
If we get the grant,
Yeah.
it doesn't, we won't be able to do any construction until 28 probably. Which is only a year and a half away, but you'd have one more season after this year, for sure.
I remember having discussions about this 3 years ago, 4 years ago, same kind of questions as you're not going to have, there's plenty of time to make adjustments. For my 2 cents, having talked to Charles Rohrbach, which is the man that takes care of the AIM complex there, that field number 1 was originally intended to be a multiple-use field that was done by Jim Turner and Rich Wild. And the idea there is that you got a concession stand, a press box, and a ball field that's a size that you could use. It also allows you to kind of get in there and do your thing without people, you know, saying, there's nothing bad about anything I say, but there's some people that in the past have had trouble with beverages in their trunks of their cars and stuff like that, that, you know, would be better like out in the kind of the country where it's not somebody calling the police and saying, hey, these guys got beer in the trunk of a car. But in here again, the big picture, I think what's most important is I think that the county, in this case, they've invested money out there and they want to continue to invest money out there. And I'm not sure people know what I'm talking about. Across the 4-H Fairgrounds, there's a field called the Julian Ridlin Aim High Park, I think it's called. And there are 2 fields at the top of the field and there are 4 fields down at the bottom. The 4 fields at the bottom are used primarily, or not primarily, they're used by all girls softball teams in Logansport other than the high school and junior high school programs. So all the ones that 4 people say, oh, it used to be at Tower Park, it used to be at Melbourne Park, it used to be at Fincher Field, they're all out there now. So they have found they've got a concession stand. They can have 4 games at a time running together. They usually can't get enough umpires to match the space they have. But oftentimes they'll practice in 3 games going on the weeknights, and there's restroom there and that kind of thing. So that kind of has transpired over the last 20 years of that happening. And there's been some social comments about, well, all of a sudden there's no place to play anymore or whatever, and without Tower Park and that stuff. This is a long-term thing that's been going on where they wanted to have their leagues all together so they could kind of support them, and then they could, the little kids see the big kids. And quite frankly, when I'm out there looking at it, it is pretty cool to see that kind of crowd out there. Much like when I was a kid, a million years ago, you know, they would see Sue Jones, Sue Kids playing fastball down Riverside, and there'd probably be 60 or 70 people watching a game as a Friday night entertainment. Well, that's probably, you know, when TV was just barely born. But anyway, I think I think the best place for you guys to be is at Ames Park because they right now are not focusing any attention on it. I mean, it is a rundown field because nobody uses it. Right. And the one time I think when we had the deal with we there was an event down there, and they had some tents and stuff, and we hoped to get it, but it couldn't get fixed fast enough. I've seen it noted also with Dan Fry from the high school on things on, with this thing with Babe Ruth and that kind of stuff. And again, couldn't be repaired fast enough. But the county has got an invested interest in making that complex better and better. So I think they are your best friend here in the fact that, realistically, how often do you guys use that field? Is it just weekends, or are there certain nights of the week?
4 nights a week.
4 nights a week. From what time?
7:30 and 8:30.
7:30, so it's just an hour. Yeah.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Game.
Well, that's just 7:30, 8:30.
Over till 10 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, one of the things I think that we need to have there is that, we need to expand, it's hard to go to the city council and ask for money for the parks over and over again when we have things like, roads that have potholes and that kind of stuff. So I would like to see in some cases that we start to find ways to make our own, create our own money there. There's a concession stand you guys are using there now. It'd be nice to have it available, not just, at those times, but have it available other times. You're not going to want to run a concession stand probably on Sunday afternoon, but you go down on the crowds with the picnic people on the weekends. There's a lot of people down there that might use a concession stand. And you could still, right now, you could do it now. You could be doing that now to make more money for your league. I don't think we're getting large amounts of money from rent for using the field. In years past, you guys really didn't have a lot of extra money to help, take care of the facilities. So anyway, it can still be there now and again, to their point they made earlier, until we're talking about a grant situation. We've been talking about, Dave, this is not the first time we've talked about
But it's
this.
just the way it just popped up all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, I mean,
In the making, steps,
in fairness, you guys haven't been coming to us either and saying, hey, why don't you give us an update on this? We probably should have done a better job of saying what's in that thing. But as of 30 days ago, they were just talking about just being a green space. Then they start talking, well, what could be a green space? Maybe you could play a little soccer down there. You could have, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of, as the case for a while, it's just going to be a space. It kind of is, unfortunately, where it's located, you come across the bridge, and if we're not maintaining that space in a nice fashion, it doesn't look really fabulous. You also got some stuff dealing with the roads. If that street's not there, you're going to have to access that field from the other road or whatever. So I think there's lots of things, and I think we need to really have more input from you on what are you planning to do in the next year, 2, 3, 4, to keep that facility alive and going, and whether you're thinking is it a field that you want to use? I mean, the same thing happens with all of our softball, little leagues, all these kind of stuff. Where is it the city's responsibility to maintain it to your standards, or is it a partnership where you guys saying, yeah, we'll re-roof the thing, or we'll do this, or I know you have in the past got a scoreboard, and you've talked to Tyson's about getting some stuff in the concession stand and stuff like that. So, I just think we need to have more input and again, and get people, what kind of crowds do you bring down there? We'd like to have, if we're going to have a concession stand, you have people, and so we need to work on more ways to have things, more activities. I typically, anytime I get near the park, I try to drive by there, and especially on the weekends, and we have some large crowds, especially I would say Hispanic crowds, where they don't have enough picnic table space. I mean, because there's that many family reunions going on. So how does that all work together? How can we, could you guys, what are your plans, I guess, really? I mean, you say more than we do. I've tried to go down and watch some of your games and seeing some of that stuff and seeing what's going on. I don't see I don't feel like there's a plan. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to get more people this year by having our scores listed in the newspaper or whatever, So.
We tried that for years and they wouldn't do it.
I know.
Yeah, so I mean, that's
Yeah.
the Ferris Tribune.
Well, I say, yeah.
Just, that's why the newspaper was so expensive.
I saw him come.
He's back here, Brian.
Oh, he's way back here.
It is what it is, so,
He's ducking.
I don't know, I mean, like I say, the main concern is, to me, is really the fence, in my opinion, okay?
To keep going
I can't
for the
maintain
next years.
the field during our time of play when the whole public has access to it. They crawl under it, they tear it down, it's unlockable, it's been tore down in the past. The outfield, we fix it 2-3 times a year because it's falling down. The fence is curved up, I go and cut it off myself. I spend a lot of time down there trying to maintain that field, only for it to have to be destroyed. I get off work after 8-hour day, go down there for an hour and a half, drag it, line it, get it ready to go home, prepare myself to come back to umpire, and the field's messed up. You know,
Oh.
bases are pulled out, you know, I mean, you know.
I believe this is a situation that concerns everybody because like our Little League fields, they lock those fields up too. So I have guys that are older saying, we used to go down and play pickup games down there. Me and my friends would go down and play. That's not available at that field right now. I mean, a lot of the city fields they're locked up because of the vandalism. Now,
For me to justify putting my labor in there anymore to keep the field up, to keep it going, when it's just gonna get disrespected after I leave, even on the weekend, even when it rains, that's what drives me nuts. When it rains, I think they love going out there when it rains.
Right.
Because there's dog prints, feet prints, bike prints, and when them prints get in there, and then when it dries, that's 3 times more work to drag
like
that
concrete.
out. 3 times more work to drag that out of there. And it is very frustrating. I mean, very frustrating, and we just need, at least for our time while we're there, that fence to be inaccessible. I mean, they crawl over it and then it knocks down the one gate where I drive into whatever. You can just pull that thing right up off the hinges and throw it over the side. I mean, all the fences just curved up. I mean, like I say, I clipped some of the sharp points off of it so nobody gets that ran through their leg. I mean, that's my major concern. I haven't, you know, I don't mind working on it all. Softball is my passion. That's been my life for 50 years. I've been all over the country playing. I love it. I want to see it survive here. I want a nice facility for us to go to. We have an increase in teams in the last couple of years coming down there. The crowd, yes, there's crowds there. The weekends we don't play. We don't have enough softball fields to drive like Ames has out there. If I have all kinds of access to drive 200, 300, 400 people in, if we had a nice complex to throw a tournament, One Nation, USSSA, ASA, NSA, ISA, there's all kinds of associations looking for fields to,
Right.
you know.
And AIM is they are doing tournaments out there.
sorry?
Not for your age group, but they are doing, and they're bringing 300-400 people in the weekend to, so that's another thing is what can we do to increase traffic and tourism in Logansport? I would definitely look at, I still think your best, if you're looking for the Parks Department to have deeper pockets on fixing things up, and, I just don't think,
I mean, I see, it looks like a nice renovation right there, but really, you could have everything you wanted there, and just renovate the softball field and make it look good. You can still have your stage there with a removable gate. You could do
So,
everything and keep that field.
what are your concerns against AIM? What's your problem out there?
Where, at Ames?
Yeah.
We have to start all over again. We're gonna have to revamp that whole place. We're gonna have to rebuild it again, The dugouts, the dugouts are falling apart. In the past, I've been out there for years by myself. I went out there with other people and we hid out there because it was just not, instead of using the one here, we go out there and use it. And now, over years and years and years, the dugouts back when it first was there, it was pretty nice. It was like, wow, okay, I dig it. But now it's just, the corner, everything's just falling apart. I haven't seen as far as inside the concession or inside that little sports room, what it looks like as far as now, but, the fence has to be.
Those original fields out there with Judge Ridland's dream, there was not a single penny of taxpayer money used out there. So there was a ton of asking for, but then those days are gone. They used to have signs on the fences and that kind of stuff to help fund that stuff and had volunteers. And they did get there were some times when the prisoners would do some stuff out there, and that's available to you still now. So I'm just saying, I know that you were here at Riverside, but the fences are bad and this is bad here. You got AIM out here. You have the ability to have the city, I think the county wants to have that facility continue to grow. So if you're looking for someone that's going to help fix things up, they've got a whole prison crew of guys and they, whatever. And they
So then point us in that direction, then, I guess.
Did. Charles Rohrenball he's the Parks Director. You know Charles? He's a big softball guy. I mean, you've been in softball, you probably know him if you saw his face. But he is the Parks Administrator for that whole complex. So there's one for France Park and there's one for AIM Park.
Oh, okay.
So, and I can get you his information, I can get it today or something like that. But I say, and they've not done, they've not had deep discussions, but it has been an ongoing discussion with them because they're saying, we've got all these, when they have their tournaments, there are like pockets out there too, so you can put a temporary fence in to keep it for younger play, because when they bring those teams in for the tournaments. They've also added lights out there. Before, the judge was not in favor of his dream was people would play out there in the day and at night come into Logansport and do stuff in the theaters and that kind of stuff. So anyway, the lights are up there. There are not lights on that field yet. But the county, is intending to do things out there, but until someone shows some interest, I don't think they're gonna buy lights until you guys say, we're gonna bring X number of teams out here, and then, you might have a tournament or something like that you might bring in too. So I think, and maybe you just need to get with me or something, because I've had probably the most experience in dealing with AIM and everything else, but I say, I just think in the long haul, we need to have Riverside Park drawing a lot of people in. And with the event center, with the boutique hotel that goes next to that and whatever else, they got some other things happening down there. There's things that can happen to develop that. And you also got Houston Park right across the river stuff can happen there too. So anyway, I don't want to take too much time on this, but yeah.
Are you sure?
Keep it down to 3 minutes
That
or
ship's on sale.
or
I think
30.
we're past 4 minutes.
Well, I think it's important because you said, you basically have said, we've not been kept in touch what's going on. I don't disagree, but it's a two-way street, so we don't know what
Down there all the
yeah.
time As far as when it starts, and like I say, and we just had, the little meeting, I figure when we go and talk just, and any concerns that we have, we only have one concern, and, and then that was basically all was said, there was nothing else said, so.
Right. So is your dream that you guys would take 100% control and you'd be cutting the grass and decorating and all that? Is that your?
We wouldn't have the money for that. We don't generate the funds for that. There's no way. That's no way.
Okay.
No way.
Well, and just what the lease says now is that the Parks maintains the outfield.
Yep.
The league maintains the infield.
Yep.
I don't know all the rest of the specifics, but I know that it's kind of a shared venture and
And that's what it's been.
to keep it out.
And I take care of the infield while they do the outfield, which is fine. I'm all about that.
there's been a lot of stuff on Facebook about, I think people think that we're making thousands of dollars off that field. No, seriously, somebody commented like, well, there's this many teams and this much money and it's $900 a team and it's like, that's not our money.
Just to keep money in our funds.
Yeah, I think the public is unaware that we make $350 a year off that field. And so all of that money goes into manpower and the gas and the tractors to mow that outfield for the whole season, before and after the baseball. So it's not like we're really making money, is my point. Which is fine. I mean, we don't have to be making fortunes off of the community, but I think these are all good concerns. I think it's something that we can continue to talk about and see if there's, ways to make things happen or make sure there's plans set, make sure that something is going to meet your needs in the next year and a half to 2 years, And again, that's assuming we get the grant.
Yeah.
So,
It's right here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with you guys and.
yeah. And you're welcome. I mean, every meeting, we have visitor comments every meeting. So if you ever have concerns or questions or something, you're always welcome to
And
come to
please
the
come
meetings.
back with what you find out so we can continue and keep the ball going,
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine, but like I say, as far as, I don't know, so as far as the next year or so, however, that we're allowed to be down there, can we get any type of help to somehow secure that fence a little more? I'd really like to get the 8-foot poles down right field line there, tied to our fence. I think that's a hazard. I'd like to get that taken out somehow. Because that is a real hazard I've been, like I say, a lot of ballparks, never seen stuff like that. Somebody goes running over there, that's just not a round solid pole you're gonna run into. That's a 3-way steel strong pole that's sticking about chin high all the way down right field line. I don't think that's, to me, very playable if something would have to happen, and I would not want to have to see that. So I would honestly like those removed somehow. That fence, because that fence is just so beat to death and broke, everything just.
But we're living on the $350 a year you're giving us. So what kind of fence can I put up for $350? And Richard needs cracks at the pickleball court. I mean,
But the fence has been up there for 50 years, 60 years. I mean, it's never been attended to for 50 or 60 years, and
well, we've been getting small money from anybody using it for 50 years. I mean, not recent, I mean, we've had some years, I know, that you guys couldn't afford anything because you just didn't have any money coming in.
correct, yes, correct.
So, I mean,
So basically, you're saying that we're responsible for placing the fence then? Is
no,
that what you're saying?
I'm not.
No.
I think what I said was,
No,
why don't
but-
you guys get with me and I can talk to, I still think the county is your best hope.
I mean, I'm
No,
just-
it's just that we
You're
also,
saying that right now we have no funds to fix it, just live with what we got.
and I don't know that we have any
Adults are,
funds. I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm going to be blunt here. As adults, you have the ability to raise funds, right? You're a nonprofit organization, and you can do that. I mean, that's what I'm doing all the time. I'm always out there trying to find money to take care of a problem, either from the city. Let me finish what I'm saying.
You could take it away.
It's something, if you were really proud of that facility, you would make sure that all these things are taken care of over all these last 30 years.
In my opinion, I thought that was part of the parks. If it was laid on me, as far as my responsibility, as far as building that up.
But your people aren't even willing to pay a decent,
I was there to keep the league running. I wasn't there to run funds and try to build and repair everything down there. I was under the understanding that the Parks Department and the city.
but you guys are the ones been using it.
3 months out of the year, ma'am. 3 months out of the year. 3. That's all we use it for.
That's what the baseball kids do.
I understand, but they can keep their fences locked. There's nobody over there the other 9 months of the field tearing it up all for 9 months.
Nobody said you had to keep them locked,
They
or
are.
that you had to keep them unlocked.
No, I know, but we can't keep them locked because the fence is depleted. They crawl, they bend, they break. Like say that gate down there, they just pull it off the hinges.
so you're leaving it unlocked because if you lock it, you're saying they'll break the fence?
A lot of it has been messed up when they brought the events down there. The outfield fence, when they brought the circus in there, they knocked that fence down. None of them poles are put back correctly. So it just falls down. So we didn't break it, so it's our responsibility to fix it. I mean, the gate's the same way. We didn't break that gate down there. It was put on fine before. It locked and worked just fine until an event came down there, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's broke. And it's like,
Okay,
you know.
so let's take a look then at what we can do to secure the fence a little bit better. We'll take a look and see what we can do. I can't promise you anything. I mean, it's not like we're gonna re-fence that or anything, but we'll see what we can do.
How tall is that fence? I mean, the rug down the field, down there. How tall is the fence? Is it 4 feet?
8 feet
All the way around?
down. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay, because with the Little League and that's basically 4 feet all the way around. Well, you can put all the locks you want on, the kids bounce back and forth there like jackrabbits, you know,
But it's-
securities.
But like say, they crawl over it and then the tile that's up on it,
Yeah,
that's what basically is holding our fence on because the poles, we don't have the tools to pull the fence to get the poles,
yeah.
back reset. So that the poles are just dangling. And the tile is what keeps it on there. And like I say,
you got basically tie straps and sewer pipe.
that's what I do.
Yeah,
Yep, wire
gotcha.
tie, zip ties, that's how I keep it
Okay.
yearly. Yes, sir.
Let's try to cut this off. Do me a favor, get with me, I know Dave, and let's get a hold of Charles Rohrenbaugh and just see the county, they don't want to have a field that's not being used. No, especially with liability stuff, when you start mentioning about fences and this kind of stuff, you're going to get yourself in a position where they're going to shut it down altogether because it's not safe. You don't want that, right? I mean, that's what you're saying, it's not safe.
I know, but that's, why is that my fault though? Why you? wasn't that-
Because we have no money.
Huh?
Because we have no money. You can go back to all kinds of different things.
We just
I
don't
mean,
want
it's
it to happen,
kinda like-
no matter what.
And once you know,
Trying to keep it from people not getting hurt down there by cutting it and repairing it,
okay, I'm offering to help you. You seem to want to go off on a different track, so just, never mind.
We'll
There's every
investigate what
reason,
we
the
can do.
county has
I-
every reason to want to make that field out there at Ames Park usable again, draw crowds in again. You know, they have all kind of reasons to have that. We've already told you, I mean, you're saying, I can help with $350 if that'll do what, it doesn't get you very far. So I think that the county is right now is your best hope, because of that, the other fields there are being used by lots of kids. So, you know, so it's, they're being happy with that. But they got a big field out there that the dream of Jim Turner Senior was, is that would be used for all kinds of ages. That one field would be expanded and contracted all the time. There used to be a mound out there for boys to play. I mean, just have all kind of stuff. But I'm just telling you, I believe from talking to Charles Orenball, you know, they are doing tournaments and stuff like that. If they could somehow use that in some way, you guys could offer some help in getting, you know, maintain a regular basis. I mean, they're taking care of the grass and that stuff now too. And they got, you know, and there's fences there people have jumped on top of. So I think that, I mean, I'm not psychic here. I just, that I've dealt with both of these groups. I think right now, you're going to have, there's, you know, if we get this grant, that doesn't go very far either. So it's not a case like, say, we could just redo all that with this grant money. Right now, you want to keep what you've got going. Let's just investigate what's available. What are your options? You know, there's no one here saying, we have it, we know what's going to happen, because we don't know if we're going to get the grant. You don't get the grant, there's nothing happening down there. It's all the same.
Right. I get it.
But for the good of Logansport, Indiana, I think using that field out there would help. And I will, for the record, I'll tell you that there are no locks on any of that stuff out there at AIM. So you could have people that are going to go on there and do stuff. But I say their intention is that these kids in our community and adults should have the opportunity to use our facilities that are taxpayer owned.
I get that. I mean, I get that.
Okay, well then just come see me.
As far as that goes, but, you know, I just feel with the disrespectful, and this is as far as when you go down there during our time and, you know, you work and get the field ready, and then it's just tore up. It's just, you know, I mean, I don't, and
Same thing, Little League.
Yeah, I've been involved in too many organizations to feel disrespected every time somebody, you know, I'm out at AIM when I would help out there. You'd have all those same problems with people's footprints in the clay or in the sand or whatever, the dirt part. And you had to fix it up and you had to rake it and you got to do all that stuff. So I mean, I think there's ways to help you. I just need just to get together. And the idea that you're just going to say that you're being disrespected in the world is terrible. I'd love to have tons of money. The other thing is start a fundraiser to raise money for Riverside Park. I'd love it.
would have known something like that, whatever, and we responsible and raising funds to do something like that, I would have been able to do that, you know, as far as whatever. I didn't, whatever, know anything of that nature. And to do that, you know, to me, bringing in a softball tournament, that's where your money comes from, as far as gaining money real quick like. That's our fundraisers as far as, but we need facilities, which that's not, you know, possible. We're just working on getting one now, but as far as, you know.
Okay, so we will investigate what we can do to try to secure that field a little bit better, make it safer if we need to. I would recommend talking with Mike. Mike's a great resource in this community, and see what the options are. And aside from that, I say we kind of move on for now and keep in touch. Let us know what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Come on up.
Andrew Myers, 31 Frederick Street. So first of all, I want to say I think it's great that you guys have all put a combined interest into trying to make the parks better. I think that's a fantastic thing. I'm on the fire department. Some people may know that, but my opinions are my own. They're not the fire department's. Some of my concerns may come from being on the fire department, but my opinions are my own. I just want to put that out there. First and foremost, we have a softball team on the fire department as well. That is a big concern of ours. The softball field isn't just the softball league. We look at it as part of the parks. I'm a proud Logansport citizen. I've either lived or worked here my entire life. And that field has been, and the softball leagues that used to be bigger back in the day, have been a part of this community for a long time. To push it out to the county instead of the city, to me, it's a solution if there's no other solution, but I don't feel that it's a great solution because I think that it should stay in the city, and the city citizens should get to enjoy that. It brings a lot of people together. To me, I didn't realize Mr. Crittenden, I was the one that responded to you about the
Yes.
league fees, and it wasn't to say that we make a bunch of money. It was just to say that the costs are covered more to at least maintain the field, so that the community can keep enjoying it. It wasn't to make any sort of claim that Dave or John make a ton of money. I know they don't, and I know that they do what they can with what they have. I think it's just a resource we should protect, whether it's through the proposal where, like Dave touched on, that you could try to incorporate it still being a softball field as part of going forward with your proposal. Another big concern for us about the county from the fire perspective, and I know the police would share a lot of the same issues, we like to go, the crew that's on duty and support the games that are going on. If that's out in the county, we can't do that. It also helps not only to watch the games, but we feel like we're more part of the community when we're down there watching the games. There's kids coming up, checking out the trucks. We're talking to them, getting to know them a little better. It's a good PR event for the fire department and the police department to show that we're a part of the community for those games. If it's out at AIM, we won't be able to do that as well. Another concern of mine for the past, this will be the 5th year, we have a 9/11 memorial tournament that we've been building on every year, and it's held at Riverside Park, and it's a really good event for the fire department. It's now a good event for the police department, and it's a good event for the community. Jan, you were very helpful with that the last couple of years. I really appreciate that. I hope to continue to build on that the whole time that that's down there. But this design, while it has a lot of exciting things, I think would take away that really good opportunity for public relations that public safety has at our parks. Another concern I would have with this current layout, it looks like there's no driving all the way around the park anymore.
Right, Riverside Drive on the south side would become a two-way road.
Okay,
So that would be the road in, and then 15th Street would take you up to that one parking lot on the east side, and then the rest of the parking could be accessed from Riverside or from Vibrant Events.
okay. The only, and again, this is my concern as being a fireman and living in the community, raising my own children here. It's not the opinion of the fire department itself. Not having a circle drive all the way around the park would increase response time for emergency events for some of us first responders. Getting our boats in the water would be a little harder, not having the whole access, because when we have all of our trucks respond, and then we delegate what apparatuses need to park where, because we may have equipment we take off of one versus equipment we take off of another, or different staging. Not having access around the entire park could increase response time, and that makes me concerned as a parent of 3 little kids that could be at Riverside Park. If them or one of their friends gets hurt, it'd be harder to get to them.
I don't want to start another 20-minute discussion, but one of the plans that's out there is that road that is behind would be used for a rubber-tired train that could go anything it wants to. So you'd still have that road there. And if you had pilasters at the end, you know, the firemen could come into that area, because they're talking about, there could have cases where you might have weekends, you got food trucks in there or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be an active road.
Okay, but
and that
it's
was-
still a fire truck?
Well, it's a street, so.
Okay, it'd
you
be the
have-
size of a street then, not the
Right.
size of just a trail?
Well, I mean, just again, because I know what it costs to pay, you know, for us to pave, you could use that entire grant just to pave roads and stuff like that. So if we can reuse that for some other purpose and have it so that it, you know, it gets more freedom to use the riverfront and stuff like that. This is one of the plans, and that's what we're here tonight for, is to sort through this stuff. But one of the plans is to have that train system would go back and forth there, and it would go and it'd come around. And then the idea is also it could go down to the boutique and pick people up and take it. It's an adult-sized train. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's a bigger train where people can actually sit in like a seat like this and inside a little thing. And but then what you find is that we also have things, because there's been money spent to have Squeal and the Eel, to have power and stuff put down there. On that road, you could have festivals and stuff and have things happening, so that day, the train is not running, or the train's running as a shuttle service or whatever.
So first responders would have access with their,
Oh, of
with their
course.
trucks?
If you had to drive a truck back there to save somebody, of course, I mean, that's,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be just
So
like.
you'd have
little
you'd have an
walking path.
entire,
I mean, it's-
you could have the entire city street to yourself, that whole length, because it would be,
I-
all you have to do, all you have to
just
say
look-
was,
Just looking at the picture,
well, I'm saying,
I haven't been to these meetings, it's the first I heard about it. I was
Right, and
actually
there-
out at the fair and heard about it.
There's been like
and then-
half a
That's just a concern I have as a firefighter and as a parent. But my original concern, I think that historically that field has meant a lot to this town, and I think we should keep it in this town and invest some money potentially to at least make it a little better so it's easier for the guys, the two guys that work their butts off to try and keep it nice with the equipment that they have. Let's make their jobs a little easier and make it a little nicer so that they don't have to spend as much money to maintain it. I think it's something we should protect. If we're looking at revamping Riverside, I think, instead of just putting in a giant field, because how much money is that gonna cost to mow and gas and everything for a lot more grass area? I think you'd be about the same amount of money to fix it up enough that the gentleman behind it that just spoke would be able to maintain it a little easier.
Okay.
So,
And explain to me, the firemen can't go out of, it can't go out of the county, so you couldn't have permission for you guys to go, like when, you know, you couldn't drive out there, I mean, I think it's 14,
we're out at the
I think
fairgrounds.
it's 14 miles to the,
We have our jurisdiction that we have to stay in. We're city employees. We have to stay in the city. Unless we're called out for a call, we're supposed to stay in the city.
okay.
So, call or.
You don't see there's any opportunity to discuss that and say, we want to, once a week, travel to this field and have
No,
our,
and I think you could be definitely faced with some liability there as well. If you're out at the fairgrounds and you get a fire on the south side of town and you have that increased response time that you could have been that much closer versus you're at Riverside Park and then responding. I think that you could be faced with liability there as well.
So
I'm
you'd
not,
pre-
I'm not an officer and I'm not a fire chief. That's just
all right.
how I think that.
so you prefer that we actually had a 4-H fairgrounds like they did years ago in the city, too? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have a nice softball field potentially if we take care of it, and I think that it should stay in the city. It's a city resource right now. I think we should keep it that way. And I think it's not just the fire department, the police department to get use out of it. I think it's a community resource that brings a lot of people in to watch the games. Softball's been a part of this community. Adult softball's been a part of this community for decades, and I think it should maintain to be that way.
Thanks.
Do you have to have
comments.
do you have to have a fence around a softball field?
How can you hit a home run over the fence if there's no
Then
fence?
again, it'll cause to where things will get.
No.
Yes, I would say that you have to. I mean, it'd be hard to run games without a fence. It's part of the game. That's like having.
Well, if the ball goes outside the fence area, yes, but. Okay.
You have to have
So
a
no
fence,
fence.
so you know kind of
Yeah.
where all that has.
Ma'am, that'd be like having a basketball court without goals. You could say that it went in that area, but you've got to have the facilities for that sport to be able to properly perform and play that sport. So I would agree, yes.
I
you
mean,
have
I understand about a backstop, I get that part of it. But the other thing that needs to be addressed too is that there's mold in the press box, from what I understand. And the press box really needs to be removed and rebuilt if that's what needs to happen. So it can't just be the fence. And there's more to it than just the fence. But the fence totally needs to be replaced totally. It's not, you're right, it's been there for 40 or 50 years. And it's crap. And it should be replaced if that's what the plan is, but I don't see us replacing it and then abandoning it as a ball field. So you have to decide how you're going to spend the money, you know?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew.
Old Wilhelm, 630 South 15th Street. I've looked over the plan, I actually think it's a pretty good plan for the area. I don't even have a problem with the fountain being there because there was originally a fountain in that area once upon a time. I guess the question I just have to ask is, can we afford this? Plain and simple. Things have changed in the last month or so. Matthew Warren is closing. We don't know what's going to happen with that building. Carter Fuel closed 2 months ago. Before that, we lost Kaufman Engineering. We've lost about 500 jobs in this community. Our population has gone from 18,300 in 2010 to 17,300 now. We've got TPS who's going to come in and deport a bunch of people. We don't know how many, but we know there's a couple hundred kids in school, and we know they have family. So we don't know how much population we're going to have to just do things with. And more importantly, I mean, I guess where the money comes from, can the city afford to pay their money? I mean, I don't know that the city council is going to approve this. You know, Baker Tilly's telling the city council, you guys are going to have to start doing with less money. You just got a $2 million GO bond, which most of it went to the parks. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I just don't know that right now is the time to do it. It's kind of hard to say to people, oh, we want to go borrow, we want to get a $2 million grant for a park, when you've got people who are going to be unemployed. We've got people living on Little Turtle at night, camping out there. I mean, it just seems like we have a lot of serious problems right now. And I think that sometimes we need to sit back and look at the conditions in our community. We like to do all these things. Sometimes we just can't. I mean, you know, I think it's a great idea. I think the concept is good. I just don't know that as a city, as a parks board, that you can ask the city right now to say, we want $250,000.
So I'll let Jan correct me if I say any of this wrong. I'm pretty sure the 250,000 has already been allotted. Has that not, or it has not?
No.
No, it's not.
Okay,
Meetings on the
We're going to have a
20th.
special meeting.
okay.
If this month is out, a finance committee meeting. So the city is not committed to it.
Okay, so then that takes me to the second point. The city is free to say no. If the city votes no on this, then we either have to change how we approach the grant, because I know part of this money, I think, was counted on in finding donors. Like, it wasn't going to be fully funded by the city. But anybody that would donate, like if somebody wants to put their name on a pavilion, at such and such a rate. That money all goes in, and that can be counted toward the matching fund. So I don't think it was never that we were going to ask the city for all the money. And then, yeah, I mean, Susie's going to know better as far as that goes with council, how they're feeling about it. My position is, and I understand what you're saying, there are concerns in the community, and you have to prioritize things. But I also know that you get $0 that you don't ask for. And if the worst they can do is say no. I mean, there's no harm in asking for, hey, here's $750,000 free dollars from the state through this grant from the DNR that we would like to go after. If we can't, we can't. But if we do, then that's going to benefit the whole community through Riverside Park.
I mean, I just had a meeting with
So-
Dave Morris about the memorial home and the possibility it may go over budget,
Oh, I'm sure it will.
because the original bid was 2.3 million. They're going to get it down to 1.2 with some people helping and volunteering, and we talked about some of the issues with that because I've worked on projects like that before. You know, RDC's approved it, haven't they, at this point? So you're waiting on the city approval. I mean, I just, you know, I think it's a great idea. I just want to express my own personal reservations that sometimes you have to step back and think about what's the best use with the limited funds we have, especially in 2028, because council's going to have a lot less money to work with. Matthew Warren's probably going to be an empty building. They'll probably walk away from it and not pay the property taxes. Carter Fuel's still in bankruptcy. They just paid the taxes on it, but I don't know if they'll pay it going forward.
They're not gonna.
So there's a lot of unknowns out there right now, and, you know, I think doing big projects like this are good. I just want the Parks Board to think about the ramifications, because people in the community are just really hurting right now, and I just don't know that this is what we need to do. But I do support the idea. I think it's a good idea. I just think the timing's off. Thank you.
Let me just say, I am on this board as a representative from the Logansport School Corporation. The state has told us that we have to deal with $1.5 million less out of our operating budget. So there's nobody that understands any of the things that are, hurt the city. I mean, we discuss, this stuff. We have a lot of our 74% of our kids on what they would call free and reduced lunch as a category, which means we've got economic problems for 74% of our students at our school corporations. Right now, we are getting free breakfast and lunch for those kids because we qualified, because we have so much poverty that we get to do that. And all in the same breath, that the state takes $1.5 million away from our operating funds. So, to a lot of this kind of stuff, and this is going to sound hokey, but, in the school world, we see kids sometimes that go away in the summer and they come back a step backwards when they come back in the fall because they didn't have anything to stimulate them educational-wise. And Parks is really trying hard to get more and more programs going on to help kids. At the same time, if your parents are able to take you to Disney World or something like that, those kids come back at the school year and they've actually increased their educational level because they see stuff that does that and that kind of stuff. So all this stuff, I think everybody involved takes this stuff seriously. As far as the RDC and the city of Logansport, oftentimes the city council and the RDC cooperate together, and when they want to do something like this, there's a matching grant. So we can take $500,000 and turn it into $1 million with another $500,000 match. And so oftentimes they do work together because there's times that something's important to the city, and so it's a case where, Jan worked in West Lafayette for a while, and they had, their RDC was very big on trails and parks because the people that want to move to Lafayette, Indiana, or West Lafayette, Indiana, they like to have trails and amenities in their community. We don't have quite that luxury. So as I say, and again, all this stuff, I've seen multiple sets of plans over the years of here's the merry-go-round down by the China Lane, and I've seen all kinds of stuff we've done. And so I think we have to keep thinking positively for the community and see what it is. And to say sometimes, again, it would be great to have people give money, to the thing. When I'm on the school board, I often hear from people, I pay my taxes, and so I don't need to help with special projects for the school. Well, they just took $1.5 million away from us, blah, blah, blah. So as I say, we just got to keep going on, and I think it's great that, there's a lot of social stuff out about how, the parks suck, and, I've had people tell me that they need weed eating more often, and all kinds of stuff. But as I say, I don't want to sound like we're being negative or trying to do something. It's just we want to make sure there's an opportunity to move forward that we would do that. So anyway, gentlemen.
I thought you were doing a filibuster.
Well, I was for a second.
My name is Dan Williams with the Cass County Carousel, and this is.
I'm Ernie Gassion with the Cass County Carousel Board member.
Go right ahead. You want to go?
Yes, the proposed park, I like the road staying in front of the carousel because the front of the carousel is the eye of the carousel. I like that. My question is, our current train is not in this anymore because the pickleball courts, the parking lot, and the fountain will take up where our track is. What is the story on this?
So the story, as we've been saying for a couple of years now, is that we would like to replace the train with one that can travel on a road because it allows the freedom to use that train in all kinds of different ways. It also frees up what has been called prime real estate in the park because with that track laid there, there's really nothing else. You can't put a playground in there and then have kids running all over the track. It is encompassing of like that whole percentage of the park. So the idea of getting a train that can, number one, hold adults, number two, hold special needs people, accessibility with ADA, is usable on a road that we have pavement all over the park. I mean, you can run that thing up the sidewalks, the road around, you can run it downtown, you can take it anywhere. And so it just made more sense. Now, I will say, we shared a discussion about, you know, and I think you guys are concerned about who's going to own this, who's going to pay for this, who's going to do that. I think that is something that we have to take that on. My personal opinion, we have to take on the ownership and the maintenance of the train. And in whatever fashion that means, either, you know, leasing it to you for $1 to use it when you want to use it, and then the Parks Department uses it when they want to use it. You know, that's all logistical stuff that we need to set up, but that's kind of the idea. If we're going to redevelop that park, we can't necessarily just leave that whole swath of land because of that train track. And quite honestly, there's a concern because I'm told that the train frequently derails.
Which is being taken care of right now.
Okay, because that's a safety issue. So, right, I mean, we have people on there and then the train derails. But the other stuff still is prudent. I mean, you can't very well get a kid in a wheelchair on that train. You can't get some oversized adults on that train. I mean, there's just the availability and accessibility by the community is going to go up if we change the train to a road-driven train. And that's really where most people are coming from when they look at that option.
So you feel most people were, the train's been there 48 years. I've tried and tried to see if anyone has ever been hurt. I have nothing on, and I've called the newspaper, called the police department. No one's ever been hurt there. It goes 2 miles an hour. So you just want to up because it's prime real estate. I have a lease where you have to do something with the lease. You can't just come in and dig our track. I would like to work with you. I think both of them can run. But you want the real estate.
Now, wait a second.
Okay, where are you coming up with the money to buy the train? That train that you have on your wish list, where are you coming up with the money for that? I called Deanna Crispin. She knows nothing about it at the Community Foundation.
I wouldn't ask Deanna to fund that.
Okay, well, it was brought up to me. That's where it was coming.
No. I think it fits more into there is a budget in the RDC for quality of life. It would normally come from that. You guys have misunderstood a lot of this stuff here. My intentions from the get-go of this thing have been, I've got to drive more customers to the carousel. Why is that playground down near the carousel? Because then those kids could go over if you were pumping some calliope music out there, kids hang around longer, they come over to the carousel. It might improve concession sales. Why do we need concession sales? Because we don't have the groups using it, can't provide us with any kind of income. We have to come to the city council. The city council has lost, the school's lost 1.5 million. I think the city lost $1 million or so. And there's nobody crying tears for the city or for the schools or for the county of the lost money, and a lot of that is based, and then somebody mentioned, the fact that we've lost the various Matthew Warrens and Carter Fuel and those kind of people. Yeah, that's going to hurt also. But, we've also got property tax caps on us, primarily because all our businesses are so old, the depreciation stuff kicks in, and so we're not getting even a fair share of some of that stuff. So anyway, the idea originally was to say this: how do we get more people to the carousel? Because the carousel, it's something special in Logansport. Not everybody's got a carousel that you can get those rings. And I've brought plenty of people here, my relatives and stuff here, and everybody loves the ring thing. Okay. So in this case here, some of the thoughts were, if you had situations, let's just take the event center with weddings. You have this awkward period where you're shooting pictures with the bride and groom, and everybody's sitting eating cheese cubes for about an hour or so waiting for them to show up. Wouldn't it be cool if you could have a train that people could get into at the event center, and they would drive down to the carousel, drop them off, they'd all get to ride you'd get to have somebody rent, the wedding party group would rent the carousel unit, and then they would drive them back to the other area. The unit that's being projected to be sitting next to that event center is a motel. And what the motel does for the event center, it now gives them events. So you can now have a convention there. What could happen tonight after dinner? The train again could come down and pick those people all up and haul them down to the carousel. And people from out of town that are here for a convention would now get to ride our carousel. And that kind of thought is what's been driving a lot of this. Yes, I agree that my dad drove the carousel back in the days when the JCs did it. He's not here anymore. So it's a long time. I mean, again, these are just some thoughts. And I say, I've also been, I went to a graduation party down there, and the small train had come off the track. And the people there were all talking about, I think you were there too, Ernie, fairly loudly. You were there. And again, in my business, my insurance company comes to me and warns me. It doesn't matter whether something's happened to somebody. People that have trucks, you let your employees take the truck home. He goes down to the bar every night with the truck. He gets in a wreck. You as a company were aware he was doing that stuff. When I was there, the discussion that you were having with the young guy that was driving the train, he said, where did it come off the track at? And he said, over here. And he said, well, usually it comes off over here. I mean, so it's obviously this is an issue that's been out there. And I say I'm not here to protect the train, and I'm not here to induce another type of a train. The train idea from us was always about bringing you more customers for your carousel. That's what it was, because we could do that way. You could have it in parades. It'd be recognized. The one that Dan's seen down in Indianapolis, they were in the Indy 500 parade. So I don't think there's no malice. There's never any malice that people think that we're scheming to try to get rid of that train. We're trying to do something different to try to draw more people in there. And maybe you guys have all the money you need and you don't need traffic, but I see that property, that carousel is part of the pride of Logansport. And it seems to me that's what we need to have. People experience that. People from out of town should experience that. It's a little bit off the beaten path, so we got to find ways to get people there. And that's what started a lot of this discussion was. It's just it could be a plus to the carousel. And as I say, the other train, when I'm down there, when I go down to do my watches, it's not always open and running. I don't know what the schedule is, and I thought it was the same as the carousel. It doesn't seem like it's always running. And again, I don't see tons of traffic there. I see tons of Hispanics around picnic tables where we need 10 more picnic tables, but I don't see, people 4 mile long line for the merry-go-round. So I'll take 99% of the credit of saying I thought this other thing would be a much better drawing for Logansport, Indiana, and Cass County to have something that would bring them in here. And it would be a unique train that they could use, and they would get to the carousel. So that's as deep as it was. There's no plotting here. There's nothing else going on.
My question is, what is the timeline on building these new pickleball courts, the parking lot, and the fountain? How much longer does our current train have?
We're back to the same topic. This is all dependent on a grant. I've seen us not get grants for the last 4 or 5 years, and stuff has never materialized because of that. So you're in the same boat as that. I don't think that I don't think what you're, if the train is not on land that needs to be used for something different at the time, it doesn't happen. It doesn't need to happen.
But the grant, if the grant is approved and everything goes as normal, it's at least 2028 before any construction in the park is going to happen.
So at least 2 more years.
But the pickleball isn't part of
Roughly.
this grant.
Pickleball is not, so that may be later. It just depends on.
And the fountain is going to be part of this grant, so we can move that further into the center of the grass, the green space there. So to keep the train intact right now.
So do you have a problem with doing both?
That would,
Having the train.
Take yours out on the street and accept the liability, and we'll keep ours right here where the lease says we are. Make some improvements, make it, we finally got a mechanic that'll work on it that had cancer, and he's back and he's ready to get it going. We're ready to put some money in it, and we're ready to make it ADA compliant.
Right.
Is it feasible? We can.
Is part of the derailing problem the actual rails, though?
I think part of that and part of the train. It is.
The
And
tree
we,
roots is our biggest problem.
Because the rails are in bad shape, I think. That's one of the things.
repaired part of it that we thought, and we have now someone that can weld new rails on it. And it's going right, you know, it's gonna be our number one focus.
The tree roots. I guess the only thing I could say at this point, I would seriously just go home and try to look at the pros and cons.
I have.
Because the tree roots aren't ever going away. They're only going to continue to grow and pop up more, you know. You're never going to get those people on the train that can't physically get on the train. As a regular two-legged walking person can get on that train. I just, it's almost like we're fighting all the good stuff to maintain one thing. And I just don't know if that makes sense. I can tell you, if it turns out that we don't get rid of that train, I will not support buying another train. We aren't doing this for us necessarily. We're doing this to try to help the carousel. So if we keep the track and we keep all that train and nothing ever changes, I don't think we're going to invest in an on-the-road train. There's no point. The point is for us to help you. It was to help the carousel maintain a train tradition while giving us the ability to expand and grow with the rest of the community. So, no, I mean, at least for me, I mean, the board could vote whatever. I would not support spending the money on a train if it's not going to replace the train that's there. That's just my opinion on it.
I probably, in that vein, I see this different version of the train as an add-on to the carousel to make it even cooler. I'm always about customer service. That's just who I am. You know, when softball guys are talking about, yeah, we got so many people. I love them for the day. I got 70 people coming in to watch softball games because I feel like we grow, we get money, we get people. If people are using this stuff, they get excited. So I'm looking forward to saying I want people that come from out of Logansport, come into that motel, have a convention there, take a train down to the carousel and have them excited and say, oh my gosh, that was a great place to have a convention. You know, the RDC were involved in trying to do economic development, to try to bring people here and to you know, have them spend their money here. So when I see the train there, it's not always painted, I mean, it's not like, I don't see it saying, oh, I love the train and the carousel. And I'm sure there's people, as I say, I mean, I have memories of my dad driving that train. But that was 60-some years ago. So I just think that we haven't had a plan to do, and I say, I just, you know, in this day and age of ADA and stuff, we could have an ADA wagon on the back of this bigger train. They could ride on there, and so we wouldn't have to, if somebody's at the hotel and wanted to come down to the carousel, they could do that or whatever. I also am just being common sense wise, you got a street there right now. And you can spend $400,000 getting that street out and resodding it and stuff like that, or we can leave it there and use it for something which we could have that train on there. And it could run back and forth. We even discussed in one of the meetings, would like to have, someplace you got to store the train, so have a depot building that's full size where the train could actually drive through the building as part of its normal track, and you could have things displayed inside that depot of the train history, because everybody was upset we took away some of the train history downtown. We got an opportunity here to bring it back. And people could come up and walk through this thing and have things on the outside of it showing train stuff. So I just saw it as something, how do we plus up what you've got? I mean, the carousel's lovely. It's wonderful. It's a treasure of this community. But I don't see that your current train is a treasure of the community. And I understand change is hard for everybody. But I just think that we have an obligation to try to make Logansport a better place to live. And also, when people talk about Matthew Warren being gone, yeah, we need to draw some more people here. And our parks, for better for worse, since not everybody can, you know, a lot of times our parks are kind of an amenity for those businesses that come here. You're going to come here and your family can come here and the kids can ride the train. And, you know, we're in the business of selling Logansport again in that area. And to say, and I don't think that, I could be wrong, you know, some people are going to saying, yeah, look at we got this old train here, and it's not been painted, and it's rusted, and da-da-da. It's just not, I'm not accenting, I want to sell a carousel, is what I want to do. And I just think there's a better way for me to sell that carousel, you know, because you even got things with festivals that could be downtown, the train could come down there. There's just all kinds of stuff it could do. And I'd say I'm kind of in the way that Jason is. I'm not sure that, you know, unless we just need to figure something. How do you draw more people to town if we keep using the existing train we have versus the opportunities we have? And I'd be glad to talk to him about it forever. I mean, this is stupid to do it now because nobody wants to listen to this, but I mean, I'd be glad. I mean, and maybe find a way to say, you know, well, what could we do? You know, for a guy my size, I'm not sure I'm allowed to ride on your train. I might tip it over.
I think what we've tried to do over the years is keep it affordable. We look out for the kids, the children, more than anything at all, more than a stained glass window with Mike McCord's name on it. We look out for the little kids. That's all we're doing. And you're telling me that
I'm doing the same thing.
this new tram, you're going to be able to ride for $2. I hate to say what I hate riding.
Well, maybe it should be ride for free. You know.
That would, now you're talking. I would.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against saying if this is something we're using as economic development for our community. The redevelopment commission has provided money for quality things like, you know, the handicap playground over by Fairview, and we didn't have anything for handicapped kids, so we helped do that. And that, you know, as I say, that's it. I think all this stuff's it's all part of the same thing.
Just a quick recap. If we decide, have board members just like you do, if we decide we're going to keep, no matter what, trying to run the train, put some money in it, make it more accessible, do everything we can to make it so it doesn't derail. And what you're saying is you don't want both trains going. That's what
No.
I personally just don't think there's any sense in that. I mean, again, that's just me. But it just goes beyond the train. There's so much possibility that can happen in this park if we don't have that track running through all of the green space.
Now, is it just the,
I mean,
what is it interrupting? Would it be like the fountain?
You got parking. Parking on. If we have that one street, you have.
See any parking?
parking is on the other side of the carousel, but you've got the pickleball, you've got the fountain, you've got a possible pavilion, you've got picnic table areas.
You can see McCord Pavilion's not there either.
I mean, yeah, the McCord Pavilion was taken out
Sorry,
of this
Mike.
to, you know,
For progress.
it's just a redesign of the park to be more in line with what we think people want or need to use.
And there's no,
My answer, I don't mind having both trains operating, but I think that it competes against each other. I mean, did you ride that train down at Sullivan's when you went down there?
yes,
I mean, it can hold adults and kids.
yes.
So, I mean, it's a duplication, but I see more problems where the tracks are at now take away things we can, like the parking's a big complaint for the rest of the park, not just for you guys. And that takes the length of the car, and that cuts into where your tracks are at now. And on the side, and then if you want to do the pickleball courts, that hits that stuff too. So
I'm like I said, I've been working on that carousel 51 years now. I was with the group that helped save the carousel. I'm the one who put that new train in there. Because the J.C.'s bought that train and gave it to the carousel.
Mm-hmm.
I know what the train is. I know what the history is. Come down and look at our ledger that we have at our write-up desk. Look what people we have from all over the United States and other countries come in to see our carousel on their train. See what they write up about our carousel.
So is there more people riding the train than the carousel, or is the carousel?
It's just, I've got a little boy that comes in every other week with his mother, and the kid has never rode a carousel. He comes in with his Bib overalls, his plaid shirt, his kerchief, and his Thomas the Tank Engine hat, and he rides the train, and that's all he ever rides.
Ernie, why can't he do that on the new train? He could do the same thing.
It's not the same for little kid. I mean, that new one's gonna look, it's gonna be like a giant golf cart, right?
No.
Well, it's.
No, it looks just like a train engine. It looks like the Purdue, it's like the Purdue Boilermaker train. It,
That's what I'm saying.
you know.
I've been on those, I've been to Lafayette, and I've been to Fort Wayne, and I've rode those things before. I go all over the place looking at carousels and stuff like that. I'm not trying to put it down, I just wanna know what the timeline is that our train is gonna stay, or it isn't gonna stay.
I mean, the other option would be, you know, if you would invest in a bigger train with bigger tracks, like what they have at Columbian Park, and that might satisfy and make the tracks to go all the way around the whole park instead of just that little spot there. I mean, that's another option that,
Will we be taking up land that you have used for other?
yeah, yeah. You know, we can't win, but,
But
you
you could
know.
reroute it, is what we're saying, is the track would not be where it is now. It would be a rerouted track.
We've talked about that.
And then, yeah.
I mean, that train that's at Columbian Park is, I don't know gauges or anything, but it is a nice train. I've ridden on that, and I was able to ride on that, so, you know, I felt like, you know, it'd be fun to have that too. I'm not saying that, it's just you know, the other thing that I think about is, wouldn't it be nice to have that kind of train at Christmas in the Park as one of our walkthrough nights, as we do that instead of walking, you know, on Mondays and Tuesdays. And
I thought the same thing was where you could have, whether we had Christmas in the Park that way, you could also have that train that gives the kids a ride of the train, and then it shows up at the carousel, and Santa Claus at the carousel. I know you guys have a lot of private parties, and so you're kind of against, I've been told before by your board that they don't want to have, you know, they'd rather not have kids with Santa Claus in it, they'd rather they make more money from having a party or a rental of it or whatever. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I thought the same thing, where you'd have that be involved at Christmas too for the kids, and as far as, like, you know, I get it, but like it's Sullivan's where he's at. Sullivan's is a hardware store. They're a lawn and garden hardware store in Indianapolis, and they've got probably 6 or 7 of these trains, and they have these things at Christmas time and at Halloween time, and they charge $17 a car. And you have to call the first couple of days to get a place in that time period because it's so popular there. And I say, you know, my grandkids I've been drawn into that because they're down there. But it is, and they take them to, like, even places where they got animatronics and stuff. And then at Halloween they have games of chance, like a carnival. They go to there and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, it's just something that, you know, it's just a difference in opinion of what kids like today. And I say, I'm wanting to, again, and I say, I have no conspiracy against the other train. You know, if you can make it fit, we can do other stuff there and have parking and all that. I mean, people complain about parking, and if we got something great and there's no parking, that's not any good either. So, you know, I'm just trying, I am pushing to have something that works for everybody. I want something to be a positive for Logansport and Cass County. I want it to be something people talk about when they come here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm not as, but I like change better. I don't get whacked out by change.
Do you guys have anything else before we move on to the next? Okay. All right, again, we'll stay in touch and we'll.
Thank you for your time, and I'm sure we'll
No, I appreciate your input. I mean, we need your input.
appreciate you listening
So,
to us.
yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, we got BJ coming up, and then we'll do Susie.
I'll be real quick. Okay, guys. I've looked at the thing, you know, and I was down there for both of the charrette meetings, whatever you want to call them. You know, I like the train as it is because it's for little kids, you know, it's been there for years. I even drove the old train when I was in high school. No big deal. But I like it down there and I like the carousel. You want to make another pavilion, correct? Somewhere else?
The what?
Put a new pavilion in somewhere?
We're gonna move the carousel?
No,
The pavilion,
I didn't hear what you said.
pavilion?
like the octagon shaped.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, originally, the building that's called the Courts Pavilion, to get more pickleball courts, it needs it for that.
You know, tearing one down and building another one somewhere, that's more of a waste of money, I think. Also, what you brought up exactly is you have the event center, and we build a hotel down there, and you have a conference come in. What if you had like, if they had the softball field there, they had a tournament come in for 15 teams in play.
I'd love to see that,
Yeah. So.
but I've not seen it recently. I sat and watched Sue Jones when I
You're
was,
right, the field hasn't been fixed in over 50 years. It's not been taken care, it gets mowed, they do the grass and slap some paint on the fence, and that's about it. The gentleman that left a little while ago said the pickleball courts are going bad. You know, you have this many parks, and you only have so many people to work on it, so if the maintenance is going down, fix up Riverside a little bit, leave what you have, and take care of the stuff you have. Get the maintenance up better.
And you need to vote on it when it comes up. And
Yeah.
instead of voting no, you need to vote yes.
I vote no for a lot of reasons, not.
I know you do. I don't know what they are, but you vote no on a lot of things when something comes up that needs to be done in the parks. So,
Well, some things I like to try and save money, but I get shot down here and there, but it is what it is, and we're not talking about that now. We're talking about this.
I know.
So, you know, change is good. And you can have your tram and do whatever you want to do, and the people go around, that's fine, but I don't see that going downtown for any events, because I think the insurance would be astronomical to take them downtown to the taste of the town, or taste of this and that.
well, the one that was, the one at Sullivan's down there, they were in the Indianapolis 500 parade.
Oh.
So that's kind of neat.
And that'd
But
be nice too. And
Right.
the other thing is, the softball field's been there over 90 years. And if we can bring tournaments in, that'd be fantastic. But I don't see, you know, pushing people out, you know, go out and play in the county.
it's not in
Here.
the county.
Ames?
Yeah, I mean, it's physically in the county, but my gosh, it's, when they first started doing Houston Park, their big plan was to put a championship softball field there, and it's not there now, is it? But the fact was, when they measured it, because they could use both fields to have tournaments, one field doesn't get you a tournament easily. You know, they were measuring it, it was something like less than 10 miles to Houston Park from the Ames Park.
Oh, it's only like 4 miles. It's
4
just right
miles.
down Davis Road
Okay,
and around the
yeah,
corner.
so
I mean,
4 miles or something like that. So it's not, when they say like, oh, it's out in the county, you know, it's like, oh, I hate going out that 4-H fair, it's so far out there, you know.
Well, is it?
I think bottom line is that, you know, and you think differently, that's fine, I think differently. I love this community, and I always want to do things that's better for Logansport, Cass County. And when we say we should live in the past, we don't have the trains over here. I mean, you know, so many things have changed. Gosh, when the horse buggy whips went away, it just really hurt the town. I look at it and saying, you know, if right now, I mean, they, and this is nothing against you guys, you know, AIM is bringing tournaments into that field out there. Is the county doing that? They've had, I think, 6 or 7, they've had 30 teams come in there for each tournament. We can have one field and have, you know, one team play another team, one team, you know, you could have 4 teams maybe in a day that could play or whatever, but we haven't done that. You know, and as he said, this gentleman is working his tail off, just keeping to where it is now. And, you know, to me, my thought was,
Actually, in the past, proposed for a complex out there, but like you said, I don't know what happened as far as, you know, I don't know why it got, I mean, been a lot of around the country playing, and that's, you get a 4-field complex, you see it with the girls out there. That goes the same with the men.
Yeah.
Kokomo, Kokomo is a good example. This weekend, I'm going over there, there's 21 softball football teams over there.
I agree.
this weekend. I gotta go umpire over there.
And so the bigger question is, why don't we have 21 teams coming here?
Because we don't have the facilities, and because basically with the association, they like to try to use a Sunday as a rain day, so they put it all in one day with the facilities that they have. So they try to get it that way Sunday can be used as rain day or
Right.
family day, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
because we start at 8 o'clock in the morning, we might get done at midnight, but the tournament's done,
Right.
everybody's happy, and it's a good time, and money gets raised.
Right. So I just, so I'm just, I mean, I'm being selfish for Logansport. I think we have to, the idea of waiting for city council and waiting for RDC and waiting for these groups to raise it, or, that the budget of the Parks Department is going to be big enough to do something or other. I just don't know that we have to, those groups need to take charge of themselves and say, we need to raise money to do this stuff. So, again, mine's purely selfish on the fact that I want Logansport and Cass County to be a wonderful place to live. I want to be a place for my children to live, my grandkids to live, and when people come here, you're proud of it. And all this, the stuff that well, back in, as I say, my dad's dad, he would have been 90-some by now, and he did the train, and it's great. I got pictures of him driving the train. But the fact is, it's still, if we can't maintain it, we can't keep it going, how do we, so, and again, that comes back to city council. If it's a bigger deal for, Lafayette to have wonderful trails and parks, because that's what the people that make the money that work down there, that's the kind of stuff they want. We don't have the wages here up here to do that kind of stuff.
But I get what you're saying, Mike, and I understand, but, I like Logan.
It's fine. I mean, you want to stay in the past,
No, I don't want to stay in the past, but I like to keep stuff here. And you could take Houston Park and make that green space there, and you could put a hell of a concert stage up there. You play music all along. You had to move the stage.
And we could put a softball field, a men's softball field in
You had to
Houston
move the
Park.
stage last week, put it in the shade because there's too much sun. Well, you're going to put it down there where it's sunny all day long.
Well, the stage has been moved around. When we were in those charrettes, every group moved that stage. Let's try this corner. What if it was over here because the sun's going to be over here? I mean, it's not set in stone that that's where that stage would be.
You have a movable stage and you can use any time.
It's not big enough.
It's not big enough for some things, and every time we have to use it, you have to go get it. You have to set it up. Somebody's got to drive the truck over. That's all manpower stuff. I got to say, I come from a town of about 4,000 people, and they have one of these in their park. Why doesn't Logansport, why have we not 20 years ago put some kind of a performance amphitheater in somewhere where musical groups can play? We've never done that. The Cass County, the Community Foundation was nice enough to buy that trailer that lets us use it. But one of our parks, and the town I come from has a grand total of 2 parks, and they have an amphitheater. We have parks all over this town, and we have never put one in. It's like, why don't we do that? We have Summer Sundown. Every Sunday, for years, we've done this now in this community. There's nowhere for them to play except under a pavilion, and let's move all the tables out, and let's sit down in the hot sun at Little Turtle. So I don't understand. To be honest with you, the amphitheater is going to be the last thing on the list, for money-wise. And it just comes down to that. We'd rather put in the playground. We'd rather put in the playground and the other stuff that we're looking at before that. So I don't even know why we're really arguing about that amphitheater. It's just, it's not going to be.
Well, the south side's available. Put it in Fairview. You got plenty of room there.
I don't know.
For my 2 cents,
This is just where it
right
landed.
now, you've got a wonderful, alive creature downtown that has people playing live music at Bonus Pints and People's Winery and Black Dog, and so I don't even think we need it. It's not part of the current plan at the park, because right now we need it for 4th of July and Squeal on the Eel or whatever. So I just think right now, there's a lot of stuff we need, but we have to continue to think what's going to make Logansport a better place to live. And it's going to be, that's not, again, that was on the list we had that came on the list probably
It was
10,
back in
15
the
years ago
master
in the master
plan at
plans in the
least, yeah.
past, and it's been there ever since, and people want to have that, but, as I say,
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
Susie?
Hello, friends. My name is Susie Wamsley, and my address is 1616 High Street. And I just want to do a summation for you. I've sat here for
Hour and
hour
45.
a half, 2 hours, and listened to all of this stuff. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't know how much reading you do, but there's a great guy. His name is Michael Hicks, and he's an economist from Ball State University. And the guy's brilliant. And he'll tell you, he uses Logansport as an example a lot. And he will tell you, this is how you improve your city so that people want to move here and live here. There are 3 things. You have to have good fire and police, so, safety, that's number 1. Number 2 is you have to have great school systems, that's 2. Number 3 are parks and trails. That's how you build your city so that people want to live here. So let me tell you what I think about Riverside Park. Riverside Park is long in the tooth. Like, Riverside Park is outdated. Everything about it is outdated. It looks old. The only thing that's not outdated are the new pickleball courts, which sounds like they got some cracks in them and they need to be fenced in. And we have the beautiful carousel. 20 years ago when they did that carousel, folks, they raised $1 million to build that building for that carousel. That was a big deal back then. There is no way that you pass up the opportunity that Jan is taking us to get $1 million. You just don't pass that up, because you know why? We don't have the money. Our city does not have $1 million to throw into Riverside Park. We do not. And so Jan is giving us an opportunity to match money and to be able, if we get the grant, fabulous. None of these issues that have come up tonight cannot be remedied. None of them. None of them. They can all be remedied. So you don't pass up this opportunity, Jan. I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you guys approving this. The city council has approved for you to do this. And you don't pass up money that you can get, that you can match and improve your city. You just don't do that. You move forward. And everything about this can be remedied. And if we don't get the grant, guess what? We're back to square one, and then we figure out some ways to improve Riverside Park without this grant. That's what we do. But that's my summation. Like, you don't not go for grant money. It's a lot of work. The people that have never written grants, you don't know anything about it. It is nothing but work. It's labor. It's intensive. And everything that you were talking about, we can fix it all. Like, everybody can have what they want. Like, maybe we don't have a softball field at Riverside Park, but maybe we put it at Ames. Maybe we put it somewhere else. But it sounds to me like you want more than one field anyway. That was never mentioned. Like, I just don't know, folks, but I just think we can make all this stuff happen. I think we can make all this stuff happen, and you don't not go for money that is accessible to us by way of a grant. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie.
Is there anybody else that has any comment for the public hearing on the land and water grant renovations? Okay, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The public hearing is closed. And now we're going to, we'll take a 5-minute restroom break, and then we'll have the regular meeting of the Parks Department.
I would have waited another 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's not happening tomorrow, I think.
Kevin's here.
No golf tonight.
No golf tonight.
Let's just make.
I say just, let's read that, here's the monthly management report in your packets. I'm not gonna go over that at all. Let's schedule our meeting. our other meeting.
Is there anything that?
Do you have anything you have to talk about? No. Okay.
Not a dire need.
Something I was gonna ask. Are they here? They're not here.
No, and they didn't get their signatures on it yet, so. Well, we can't table it because they need it. They need it August 1st. But we've done that before, where you guys have signed it. Still hot. Mics are still hot.
Secrets.
That's my fault.
I think it's good everyone, yeah. Everyone got their time to speak. That's good. It's all good.
That's what it was for.
That's why we're here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my stomach thinks my throat's been cut, so that's not good.
Yeah. Set it up.
It is 7:20. We're going to begin the regular monthly meeting of the Logansport Parks and Recreation Department. So if you'll stand, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Reminder to sign in for all visitors, and we'll do the mission statement, but I'm going to divert that over to Jennifer as the new secretary.
Logansport Park and Recreation Department is committed to building a vibrant and healthy community for future generations through accessible recreational facilities and programs that promote physical health, social engagement, conservation, and cultural appreciation.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes. We all got emails of the minutes. Does anybody have any questions, concerns on the minutes? Okay, then those will be approved. Old business, the Houston Park Soccer Fields lease with Cass County Soccer Club.
As you'll recall, we've approved one with them to be at Fairview, and the idea was to give Houston some time to, the grass or the field to regenerate and get going really strong this year, which it's done really well, hasn't it? And so it's time to move over to Houston Park. And what they're doing is starting, actually they'll start on June 9th or July 19th. Because they need to just get moved over there as soon as possible. So we did sit down with them and talked about issues that have been a problem at Fairview, and they actually, I visited on Sunday to check on them, and the problems have been resolved. I hope I'm just going to have to keep checking on them, so to keep it in check. So that we need to get more trash cans over there and things like that to help them too. So anyway, they have not returned their signature page. I guess they're going to have to.
Just have one of each, right? Staple them together. Our signatures on one page and theirs on another.
Because theirs is separate. I mean,
I have 2 copies up tonight we could sign.
I know, but they still haven't signed the ones. I mean, if they've got the ones that they're gonna have to go back and sign, get a whole bunch of signatures again with the park board signatures, is what I'm saying, to be on the same document. Yeah, so we'll still have to get a new,
Well, we'll still sign them tonight.
Staple the pages.
that's what, huh?
You just staple the pages together, and
No, legally, I guess.
if you do with
I
a bank,
don't
they
know.
want you to initial every page or whatever to make sure you haven't done that. But I mean, in this case here, you could put a note.
Initial and date, at least it was that way in real estate, but I'm not a lawyer, obviously.
No, we'll sign ours at the end tonight, and then we'll figure
Do that,
out.
and if it's not enough, then.
We'll just make them go sign, we'll just make them sign it, and
Yeah,
get it
they'll
back
just
to
have to come
us.
in and sign it. It's,
They've shown that they can do it quickly if they're motivated, so we'll get it done. So, yes, if you would please approve this, it's the same contract that we have with Fairview, it's just moving over to Houston, and they're paying for a second field, so they'll be paying for 2 fields at Houston, so.
What approximately is that? I can't remember. They were paying by the usage. Is that what they were doing for, or did?
it's a per day. I think they run, it's just Sundays, right, that they do it?
Yeah, so it's 2 fields per day, and they do have some Saturdays, not, so,
I just wonder what approximately compared to like softball.
They're paying $80 for the
Per
whole day per field. So however many days they want to use it, times $80 times 2 fields is what they'll pay in total.
and they're paying it the month ahead. So they don't have to pay it all at one time, and they've been good about that. Yeah.
Do we have a motion to accept the lease as written for the Houston Park soccer fields?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, so the lease is good. Let's see, no new business is currently listed. So we move on to the staff reports. We'll start with Jan, the administrator's report.
I'm going to let you, I did put in my management report there for you. Most of the work that I've been doing, and actually I've been dragging Jacqueline and Kevin and Kelly into getting stuff going for the Land and Water Grant. It's going to get worse here the rest of this month. Vicki, we've met once a week with V3 and Vicki, it's online, and we're getting stuff done. I am working on other sources of funds. I'm not really free to say what those sources are at this point, but I am working on that. So, anyway, Jacqueline has a really complete report about all the recreation activities that have been going on. It's been amazing. It really has. If you've watched any of the foam parties or, some of the Firefly Walk or it's just been an amazing activity month. And so you'll see all the stuff that she's been doing with kids and families. And I'm really proud of all the work that's going into that. And I'm going to say the same about the golf course. Of course, they have all of this stuff going on. Tomorrow morning is their event to honor all the donors that have helped us get the golf course ready. And so that's really cool. I'm going to say the same thing about our maintenance crew. They have been exceptional in helping us get to where we are. I think especially Kevin, he had to talk about a tenacious person. He is. He got that foam going that one day. It just wasn't coming out, and it just wasn't coming out. And he finally figured, oh yeah, it's got to be in the hose. So isn't that what it was? It had been pumping through it, but it just took even longer for it to actually get going, so, but the fire department came that day too, and it was an amazing event, so, but we couldn't have done it without Kevin. You know, Kevin's they're helping us work out the tree, program for the boulevard. We have decided to use the old, granite markers that were on the T stations at the golf course. We're gonna use the backside of those to put, to do the markers for the trees, and Kevin's trying to help work with Bruce Lip to get those done. Anyway, and so we are starting to work on budgets for 2027, and that's going to be probably after the grant's written. That's the next big thing that's got to be done. So, so the pool has been doing great. There is a pool report there for you. It doesn't show you last year's numbers, but at this time, but you'll see that we've had quite a few visitors there. Probably, it looks like about 4,500, 5,000 kids, families. The lessons have been going really well, and I'm really proud of Mandy and Haley and the work they're doing with kids. And I've had a lot of people thanking me for those swim lessons. So, and then really that's a community foundation needs to be the ones thanked, and I will for sure. I'll send them a report with that thank you, but that's really cool. You'll also see the report there from the golf course financially. They're like $80,000 over this year as they were over last year. So they're going like gangbusters, no doubt about it. So, anyway, feel free to talk to me later about anything in the management report that you have. So.
Okay, so Jennifer's not here and Dean is not here, so Kevin, if you have any.
Jacqueline's not here.
Or, sorry, who did I say wasn't here?
Jennifer.
Oh, Jennifer's here.
That's to Jennifer last night.
Jacqueline's not here. Jacqueline's not here.
Jennifer's right there.
Her spirit's hearing you.
Kevin?
Again, mine's still attached there too, in my management report, so you feel free to peruse all the stuff that we did there. But, you know, honestly, June just saw a lot of uptick in our activities, you know, helping out with those events, making sure that they're successful, getting those foam parties going, getting all those cool outreach opportunities, just being able to be enjoyed by multiple families. You know, the pool is big for us this time, you know, where we try what we can up there, you know, alongside their staff to keep that running. And then, of course, you know, we just went through a successful July 4th. So a lot of our energies were put into Riverside and trying to get that ready for those festivities. And it seemed to be, you know, it was a weird rainy, chance of a rain day. And we had great vendors. We saw a good turnout. We had good music for the day. So I think the festivities as a whole did go off. You know, there were a few hiccups with, you know, stuff early in the morning, but it's fine. It's you put it out there. If you give them opportunities, sometimes people will come, sometimes they won't. And we gave an opportunity for different things, and we saw a small crowd, and cool. I mean, it was still good to see people show up to just celebrate what we had going on. So I know there's so much more happening. You know, as we transition out of 4th of July and we start getting into you know, this fall season, we'll start doing Howl at the Moon, and then the Christmas in the Park, of course, that's just right around the corner. So, you know, our energies will still be transitioning into those periods.
That would be great at Howl at the Moon.
What's that?
You know what would be great for Howl at the Moon?
What's that?
A trackless train that could ride on that thing all the way through Houston Park, through the woods and all of that stuff. That would be really cool. So keep that in mind for your planning.
Thank you. I do agree. So yeah, like I said, you can see my management report. It's in the line. So June was just a busy month for us.
It flew for sure.
We're just trying to keep on striving along, trying to make things a little better, you know, as we can.
Thank you.
I think you guys are you're getting the job done. I mean, the stuff that's coming through Facebook, the foam party, I was fascinated by that. It's like, how'd they pull that all off? Get everybody to cooperate and stuff. So, and I know you're always the backbone behind everything, but I think that's the stuff I'm trying to talk about, that's the Logansport we want to be in Cass County, that we want to be. It's to say, we've never done a foam party before, so let's not do it. I mean, so I just think I love the energy of the staff and just the stuff that you guys aren't afraid to try. You try it. If it doesn't work, you either change it or try it again, or you don't.
Absolutely.
So I'm just proud of the spirit, I guess, of the gang we got.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you.
Visitors' comments? Sure? Okay. Board member comments, Mike McCord.
Say.
Mike Allman.
I will also defer at this point.
I'm just going to say a short statement. Thank you to the staff. There were so many events in June. I like to try and come and see some, but there were just so many I couldn't make it to, and I was bummed, but I'll try a little better in July. But you guys are doing amazing with all the events. And Jan, thank you for working on the grant.
Thank you for helping me last night. I appreciate it. That was really awesome. She was the motivated person yesterday getting all those public comments done last night, so.
Just two quick things. First of all, just a great job on 4th of July. It always goes off well. It is so much work. I was out there for part of it. I got to meet some of the maintenance guys that I've never met. And so it was just really, really well, even despite the weather. So that was great. And then the other question I just was thinking of, so the entire crosswalk at Spencer is now down. When do we plan to do the signage? Do we know?
They're up.
They're up now?
Did you get them done
Yep, got put up today.
today?
Yep, they're up today.
I've seen people stop for people too.
I gotta drive by.
Yeah, I've seen people stop for people crossing already. It's working.
Okay, well, then I believe that's all. Just a big thanks again to all the staff for all that they do throughout the month. And yeah, this has been one of the busiest summers we've had.
Oh.
Jacqueline gets a lot of credit for that, for setting stuff up almost daily. Question?
Can we, our next meeting, can we just stay a little longer to do the budget?
The budget
Priorities.
retreat? Yeah, I think we'll plan to do that at the
On the
August
12th?
12th meeting.
Okay.
Also have a recess about an hour and a half in.
Yes, sir. No,
That
that'll
won't
be a
take as
short
long.
meeting.
I'll
Yeah,
definitely make a motion
It'll be a
for
short
that.
meeting and we'll even provide dinner. Well, you'll pay for your own dinner, but I'll get it.
Okay,
Bring a
well,
cyclone.
We buy,
Bring a cyclone.
we buy you right. Okay.
then at 7:37, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting.